Again, Trachideles, good morning, everyone. Thank you for participating. And Trachideles, again, thank you for participating. Now we have a little bit discussions, and first I'm going to talk briefly about what I said last time, kind of on this prayer booklet, our open prayer booklet, and page 70. Page 70, I talk a little bit for short time. And then after that, we have question and answers. And there's some questions in the Dharma Center in the Palm Beach here. And then I believe there's also some online, some question and answers. So I'm trying to talk those as much as we can today. And then, of course, we also continue that too. So we can try to kind of like follow all the what questions are. Okay, thank you. Again, before that, we do short time, and again, let be silence, meditate short time of few minutes, and then we pray something again, pray the 7-line prayer one time, and then I do short prayer. Thank again, thank okay. Okay, we join one time 7-line prayer. Senala Dhamma Tensi Sambra Sanjila of the Zoro, Tongue to Jenya Matu, Punju, Sarja Lamba, Taura, Shaggy, Chila Sandra, Lord Jim Salim, Madumba, Jarva Navrana, Selo of the Yon, Pemanjune Yala, and the human Zeran, and the Doji, Hoyama, and the game. Tata Benjamin Jarda Hondo, in Juray, here, Dorjela, Zora, and the Jimmy and young Kunjara Kumbedo Jina, Madara, Yalo, Zora, the Bardes, and Jeb, Merung, Jung, Dorje, Gutar, Sunji Hira, now, Roger, Gigi, Yal, Zora, and the Saja, Yana, Gadi. La Wengu, Zavala, Michael, so. The song of Lona Chula, Janello, Dogua, Jevra, Zengelo, Dogueta, Jero, and to Jay and Jero, and the Zedon. Yellow, Zengelo, Lotus, and Dora, Zengelo, Chilando, and Dora, Zengelo, Sembrando batam jendan de la ye gadan lo de no je ga drum da de me ga na da ro wa gun je da na tam je ga da ga ju de do so no ho de da ji je je nyer so me bo jo ra je la so sim je no je to da ma nam je nu da da ma nam je nu da da ma nu da ro je ro gun je tam be chun de sa chu ba gun no no zong bo je ba na ma ho ga ro gun de je ba ro je ba je bo je wa je ba ji je ba nya ma. Again, thank you again. Welcome everyone. Okay, thank you very much everyone participating, and welcome everyone. And I'll talk briefly again about this page 70. According this booklet, page 70, and is in here is titled "Pray to accomplish the Dharma." And so I kind of go over this again one by one, little bit, all this kind of like continually as much as again short time. And then go over the question and answer as I said this. This prayer is a very famous prayer generally. This is our practices. This is really what we practice. This is what we practice. So it's a very famous prayer, is of course taught by the gracious teacher Buddha Shakyamuni and all those Indian masters. Then it's kind of summarized and highlighted by the great masters such as very famous master Gampopa and as well as great master Longchenpa. As well as all the great masters is continually mentioned, particularly in the practicing lineage. That's all mentioned. So what we have to be. This means we must be, or may we, more connected our mind with the Dharma. Not just the Dharma kind of name, or not just the intellectual level, but observing Dharma to the heart, so that we can activate it, reveal our innate nature. That's what it is said here. So bless my mind toward Dharma, or bless my mind that I can turn my mind to the Dharma. So now, what is really Dharma? And of course, we all know Dharma. And we practice it. But Dharma means virtues. And also Dharma means positives. And what is virtues? Virtues is not outside. Virtues is completely connected to ourselves, each of us. To where is our mind? Virtues begin from our mind. That also means other opposite, unvirtues, also begin from our mind. This is most of the time in the samsara mind, what called samsara in the world, we are very much saturated. Our mind is really kind of unvirtuous. What is unvirtuous? Unvirtuous is ignorance, attachment, anger, and then kind of mixture of the anger and attachment, such as jealous, arrogance. Then kind of expanded skepticals, doubt and hesitation. Even something is really good for you, we're trying to become skeptical, doubt, hesitations. Even we are moving on the kind we think it is good. For example, Dharma, even we practice Dharma, kind of nice moving, but suddenly, then again thought comes, skepticals, doubt and hesitations. Then that kind of saturated all that our kind of path or the virtues is completely spoiled. And then normally, our mind is very much aligned and carry the force of this, the emotions, ignorance, attachment, anger, those naturally. We don't have to make effort. It's easy. Because why is it easy? Easy. This, all the emotions not just came on this lifetime. According to Buddhism, this all saturated, accumulated, piled up throughout the lifetimes. All these emotions we generated, we maintained, we continually carried. So therefore, all these emotions are so easy to develop, to come. We don't have to make effort. It naturally comes. So from that midst of that emotions, then what it brings? The result is always uncomfortable, difficulty, challenge to one's own self as well as our family member, friend, or it really created all troubles, one after another. Even we're thinking it's good to do, but it created trouble because it's based upon the emotions or negative emotions of our these conceptions. So therefore, now because we are being in a way practitioners, being in a way a little tired with all these so many things that clashing all the time and never really give the perfect satisfaction, happiness and the joy, then we're trying to reverse that. And reverse that from where? From inwardly. And that also begins with externally some supporters, helpers, such as reading books of the Dharmas, all kind of seeing some examples of the good practitioners. And then their kind of way of the activity, their way of their thinking, way of their performance, and then somebody will also let it inspired. Because the basic nature in the teaching always mentioned, our mind nature is beautiful, and which is known as Buddha nature. We all have this nature. So since we have that nature, therefore, by seeing the different kind of circumstances externally, and then we let it inspired. Oh, I like to do that. I like that's good. I like to do kind of the way these people are doing. And also when I read the books, teaching of the Buddha, kind of it gives a little bit more kind of like rewarding or the satisfaction, or it is kind of comforting. It is kind of soothing. It is in the way ringing to my eye or to my heart. I like should follow with that. And we are inspired. Then you practice. That inspiration of the beginning is known as the devotions, or in another word is also called faith, F-A-I-T, H. Thank you, thank you. Faith. That faith is starting, but that's the beginning. That faith is coming from actually one's own nature. Let it inspired, let it be thought, oh, this is really nice, I like to do that. But that is not enough. There is now still samsara activity is going on. All the different kind of samsara way activities, such as activities of all the different emotions, or in the great teacher, Buddha mentioned in the teaching, at worldly concern. Many of you know those, at world concerns. Poor we want, poor we don't want. Poor are what? And the gaining. Second is happiness. And those are we want. We like to gain. We like to get more kind of like, we like to fulfill. And we like to be more happiness. That is the kind of our really desire, our destination, our practices. everyone's, whether it's big or small, whatever, happiness, gaining or fulfillment. Maybe we use word fulfillment, and gaining and happiness, peace. And so that's our desire. We like to keep that. And we don't want there's a poor. There's two again. Oh yeah, sorry, I'm mixed up now. Not mixed up. Gaining and not gaining and happiness. That's the two. Then we like to have the praise. Praise, I believe, praise. And then we like to have kind of acknowledgement, kind word, good word. Those four we want. What we don't want, opposite of that, not gaining and sadness, unhappiness. We don't want ungaining, or we don't want lose. We don't want to lose. We don't want sadness, happy or sadness. We don't want blame. We don't want criticize. Those four we don't want. Four we want. And then in the samsara, what we want, for that what we want, we won't get all the time. Never going to happen all the time. And then we worry, sad. And then all the emotions comes. All the negative emotions, anger, jealous, hated thoughts. And then those kind of resentments. All those really shows up. And then we do the activities. So this is going on and on. This poor we want, poor we don't want. This is going on and on. So we are in a way tired. And those are connected with then 5 or 6 objects, of the senses. Form by the eye, what we like to see. We like to see the beautiful things. We don't like to see the ugly things. We like to hear the nice words, object of the air senses. We like to hear good things. We don't like to hear bad things. We like to smell the good smells. We don't like to bad smells. Then we like to have the good taste, flavors. We don't like to then undelicious or the kind of bad flavors. We like to have soft, tender, nice things. We don't want kind of rough and rugged, and that we don't want. Then finally, then happiness, joy, peace. We don't want sad and suffering to our mental status. So 6 senses are completely craving all the time what we like to see, what we like to have. And then 6 we like to reject it. Those are known as worldly concerns, or what we like to have. But that won't happen all the time, because we are completely such, our way we are acting, we're always looking outside the solution. We like to find every solution from outside. That means what? Instead, from outside of our mind. We're thinking of from outside. But reality, the all joy, peace, happiness, fulfillment is really completely comes from the mind. Mind is powerful. Mind is the instrumental. That we know. So by knowing that, then we can, when we read the books, when we see some individualism, by those we inspire. And then we kind of, those then brings us kind of a little bit inspired. And that is the beginning of the faith, beginning of the devotions. And with that here said, then we turn our mind to the Dharma. We turn to the mind Dharma. More detail of this, then in the Buddha teaching always said, 4 renunciation thought, 4-point thoughts. Impermanent, precious lives, and cause and effects are inevitable. Samsara has challenge and difficulty. Those are where the nature of the samsara is. When you're reflecting those, or really thinking of the carefully, reflecting on mindfulness, when you have really been paying about that, then our heart will become more softer, more tender. Then also really brings a little bit faith or devotion. I like to do something that is different than what I've been doing. So those are called 4 points. 4 points that turns the mind toward the Dharma. Often in the teaching mentioned, devotion or the faith with these 4 points is so important. First is devotion or the faith is important, inspire yourself. Second, reflecting mind with these 4 points. 4 points is not the mystery or any kind of Buddhist dogma that many times I say that. It's not just only because Buddhism has that and non-Buddhism don't have. Impermanent is a commonly shared situation, everyone, whether you believe or not believe. And then precious life. Life is also commonly shared. This life is so precious to everyone, whether you believe or not believe. And cause and effect that are inevitable. That is also whether you believe or Buddhism or not believe. That is, when you see that, when you look to those points, then we gain more really knowledge, wisdom, and mindfulness. And then samsara has challenges. Difficult. This world is not always goes exactly where I want. That never happened to anyone. Whether you're so powerful, whether you're so beautiful, whether you're so rich, whether you're so dumb or dummy, whether you're so incapable, doesn't matter. The world is not going to go exactly your way. No one that happened. No, this impermanent. No, this precious lives. And cause and effect inevitable. When you're thinking of those carefully with that, each has powerful meaning. That's called well-turned mind to Dharma. And we really reflect. Impermanent, time is changing. It's not going to wait. And use the time. We become more practical. When we think, reflect of the impermanent, heart become more soft. Because we have notion ourselves, notion of the permanent. Can we think we will be always like this? We kind of like that notion is not true, that we know. So really reflecting impermanent is so powerful, so special. Great teacher Buddha mentioned, and all those great masters said, when you reflect in the mind to the impermanent, permanent, it makes so our life so meaningful, so precious, so grand. Then we really use our life so beautifully. Impermanent has 3 impermanent. You all know. I mean, many of you know. We read. I read and you read. Those are known as instant impermanent and gross impermanent. We're thinking more now gross impermanent, not thinking to the subtle impermanent. Subtle impermanent is changing, like such as from the second to minute to the hours, like that change is second. We're not, I mean, this impermanent in the 4 point of the train of mind is not really talking about that, but gross impermanent. When you reflect on gross impermanent, how many things are changing in our lives since we have the memories until now? It's also going to change that. And then our life is so precious, each our life. And this precious life is not going to stay forever with us. And well is with us in kind of beautiful, intact. Use this for the good purpose. Bring more joy, peace, happiness to one's own self, to our family member, friend, and to the neighbors, to the fellow countrymen, all the beings. That's called fulfilling the meaning of our lives. We're using our precious lives to benefit, to doing something good things, not waste it, not put this precious life on the drain or just throw away that. And the cause and the effect are inevitable. Whatever we do, that reflects in mentally level and external levels. Good heart brings good things. Love brings love. Kindness brings kindness. Compassion brings compassion. And externally, we plant the seed. Orange, if we planted the orange, it brings the oranges. And we continue looking after that, what we planted. And the barley, grains, vegetables, whatever we planted, that brings the same thing. That system, that logic is the same to everywhere. And then samsara has a lot of changes, generally. This is not always, and everything goes the way, as I said. That, I mean, those are just a kind of generally common knowledge. But many times, we ignore. We ignore. We don't pay attention. Then we miss the point. So in the Buddha's teaching, always say that those are, when we pay the mind to those pay attention, our mind is become more softer, tender, more meaningful. We won't waste the time. We will do something good that you feel happy afterward. So therefore, this fourth point of is so important together with the faith. Faith is important. Faith is light, like it will usher us. So with that, faith or the devotion, use the terminology. Sometimes the faith, sometimes the devotion, but devotion and the faith are so important. What great Master the Nagarjuna said, and everyone in the teaching said, for devotion is so important, that's why you like to practice. And then wisdom is so important, understanding everything. Understanding is so important, then that devotion become more practical. So devotion and wisdom go side by side. Side and devotion is a beginner. And with that, then you also will have the more joyful effort. And joyful effort. So devotion, wisdom, and joyful effort, reflecting those 4 points of thought, then we establish our Dharma, our mind, raggish, wild kind of like this mind really turning to the Dharma. Dharma, something. Dharma is a virtue. So our mind is turning to the virtues that will benefit to ourselves, benefit to all the other beings. So that is just a really thought. So turning mind is, again, I'm saying that devotion, 4 point of the mind training, or the 4 point of the mindfulness practices I listed, and then wisdom, and a little bit joyful effort. Those, if we keep continually and if we inspire, then our mind is turning toward the Dharma. And then next time we talk about this second one. Second we talk, so that is my brief talk. And now please, we have, if you have some questions, I know you have some questions, and then please ask me first. The Liliana mentioned about like to talk something, right? About the Fed.
Good morning, Rinpoche. Good morning, everyone. I have a question, and it's related to your discussion this morning about turning our mind towards the Dharma. In the book discussion that we've been having here at the Dharma Center, we've been reading the advice from a spiritual friend. And in the section about faith, it speaks about faith and devotion. And it says that in Tibetan, the devotion is defined in 3 different ways. Can you speak a bit more about that, please?
Okay, definitely.
Thank you.
Okay. Is in the Buddha teaching mentioned where the developing the devotion of faith, there is three different devotions. The way it's developing. The first devotion is known as is inspiring devotions. All devotion can be used as faith. P-F-A-I-T-H, faith. So inspiring faith, inspiring devotions. Second is then devotion, desiring devotions, desiring devotions. Third is infallible devotion or infallible faith. Or maybe, yeah, that's it. Infallible devotion, infallible faith. So that's the three way devotion is developing or faith is developing. The first one, I said this morning or just a few minutes ago, is when you saw some kind of individualists, practitioners, you're a little bit more inspired. That individual is more calm, more peaceful, more joyful, more relaxed, more kind of like practical. Looks like if you see those things, kind of inspired. Oh, that's really nice, something. And then that is also find out that is practitioners practicing Dharma. For example, in this case, Dharma Buddha teaching. Then you also read some books, or maybe before you read some books, it made some kind of sense or more meaningful. After it really kind of a little bit connected to my heart thinking. So because of those, then you're kind of interested, for example, to Dharma or Buddha teaching. That is called inspired. You're inspired. Now, because you are inspired, and you kind of like, you knew a little bit, inspired, you thought it's good. Now, the second is that you like to more involvement, more like to explore that meaning. That's called desiring. I like to be part of that. I like to dissolve it, or in part with that. And then you begin to practicing and reading more books and practicing, meditating. It kind of really continually, as inspired, is really making sense. I like to do that and like to meditate. I like to develop more joy, more appreciation, more respect, and respect and appreciation to everyone, and follow this all the teaching of the Buddha as teaching mentioned, kind of like to do more. That is known as then desiring. So you are now really become practicing. You are involved. more engaging with that. That is called desiring devotion or desiring faith. Now you continue to meditate in the practices and the involvement of that, and now you become more stronger. That's called infallible or unreversible. Then there's completely trust but developed. Now it makes sense, it's beautiful and perfect. Then I like to do this. So that is the last or final one, or in the great master Jingmi Longpa mentioned the fourth one, which is called unreversible. Or trust, devotion, and then unreversible devotions. Unreversible devotion is then you really thought. That is, there's nothing can change. Can change, will stay with you. So strongly in keeping the practice, the meditate, and those are many great practitioners, even they kind of experience the different dangers externally of your faith and your practices, but never give up, continual practice. There's so many masters, so many practitioners that had to go in what's called in the prisons or in the jails, but still continually keeping the practice, meditating, because practice is not just externally show. Practice is absolutely connected to the mind, to your heart. So nobody can change your heart. Nobody can change your mind. When you see this is the one, that I'm never going to change, that I'm going to keep continuing until I reach the enlightenment to benefit for all living beings, and not just only one lifetime. In the teaching often said, throughout the lifetimes, may I continually benefit for all living beings and practicing Dharma and fulfill the goal to benefit to every living being. This is a long-lasting, beautiful goal, best up 100% with a good heart. Kindness, compassion, without any self-important thought. It's amazing, it's wonderful, and that is known as paid, all the devotions. Okay, thank you. Anyone? Yeah.
Thank you, Rinpoche. I have a question. In Calling a Lama from Afar, it says, the nature unceasing, conjoined configuration of luminous clarity dwells as the display of the spontaneously present five certainties. What are the five certainties?
I mean, that calling Lama Pa, I mean, this calling Lama Pa is again based upon devotion and faith. That is, so in the practicing lineage or in the Vedic Buddhism, calling Lama Pa is so important and so popular to every schools of Tibetan Buddhism particularly, and then, or to all, particularly in the practicing lineage, such as the Nyingma and the Kagyu. Kagyu is calling Lama Pa is very important, and every practice time, when you practice, every time, I mean every day, they always by calling Lama Pa, and that means reconnecting to your teacher, reconnecting to your guide, G-U-I-D, that who guide you to the path. And so that may I continue to follow the path perfectly by the blessings and the support of the teacher. Those already is so important. And then there is also this calling Lama Pa is most of the time is like more kind of like related truth level to bring up more devotion and joy and appreciation. All those are, you know, I mean, consumption, thought, joy and appreciation and grateful, all that consumption. So that is. But then sometimes those calling Lama Pa connected with more non-conception levels. Non-conception level, that is absolute levels. So this calling Lama Pa, particularly this time, this is calling Pa composed by the great master, His Holiness Dongyal Rinpoche, or Chabji Dongyal Rinpoche, by the request of the students, and it is really absolute level. Is calling Lama, this time Lama is not external Lama. This time Lama or that teacher is one's own awareness. One's own awareness, one's own Buddha nature. So the Buddha nature, you're calling your Buddha nature. Come out. Don't be behind. And let me guide. Let that vividity bring vividity to me so that I can guide myself. So this is absolute level Lama, calling Lama to an absolute level. Actually, this relative level Lama calling, all those Lama calling prayer is really the absolute Lama, to call the absolute Lama, or that is the goal. So this time is absolute level Lama. Now this absolute Lama has 5 perfectness. 5 perfect is never changed, never go away. It always stays. First is perfect teacher. And who is the perfect teacher at this time? One's own awareness. Awareness in Tibet is called Rupa. So your own, our own, my own, or your own, Rupa is the perfect teacher. Perfect teacher. And the second is perfect places. Where is the perfect places? That awareness, right in our or your heart center. Absolute Lama is not outside, somewhere in the distance, right in your heart center. So that is a pure land, perfect place. Your heart is the pure land of the perfect awareness Lamas. And the third is perfect time. This perfect teacher, the awareness teacher, is not the past teacher. Is not the future teacher. Is not the also kind of now or this now. But this is sometimes translated nowness. It's right beyond the 3 time. It's right here to your or to our heart center. So this is the perfect time. So perfect teacher, perfect pure land, and perfect time. And then what is perfect retinue? Perfect retinue is the display of the awareness. What are display of awareness? All the 5 wisdoms. All the display, thought and conceptions are coming from your awareness, our awareness. That's a retinue. This retinue is not something kind of coming and going or go away, and oh, today is a less group, and oh, today is a big audience. No, always a full group, full retinues, perfect retinues. Perfect retinues. Everything is also no difference than you actually. It's so beautiful. And then perfect teachings. Last one is perfect teaching. Its teaching is continuing. What is perfect teaching? Perfect teaching is beyond the dualities, beyond the conceptions, exploring the beauty and quality of the innate awareness or innate Lama, absolute Lama. So how wonderful, how beautiful. This precious Lama, the absolute Lama, is with me. Today I discovered I'm going to connect with this, keep up this by the blessings of the external relative Lamas. I'm going to maintain that. And so those are the five perfect teacher, perfect place, perfect time, perfect teaching or retinue, perfect time. Those are five perfect. Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Good morning, Rinpoche. When we're supposed to let go of identification with the five aggregates, the fifth aggregate is like consciousness itself. Can you speak about what's the difference between the consciousness that we're supposed to let go of identification with and awareness or the ground?
Mm-hmm. This five aggregates, let it go, I think it said, or let it go, or five aggregates to go. I mean, that is generally talking about the Buddha teaching often mentioned there is two truth, relative truth and absolute truth. And when we are meditating in absolute truth, at the beginning time, then we should let it go. That means you're not going to grasping, clinging onto that. So that is not that you're really going let it go, the aggregate, let it go, but you let it go clinging. You're letting go duality. Reality, the relative truth and absolute truth are union. There is no absolute truth without relative truth. There is no relative truth without absolute truth. There's nothing to let it go. If you're trying to let it go, to make that is dogma. There's just trying to making something up. But what we do at the beginning time, we know our duality is so strong, so then we can release go. That's why in the Buddha's teaching, Heart Sutra, no form, no I, no all those mentioned to reverse the conception of duality, so to kind of smack at that. But otherwise, the Buddha is not saying there is no I, no Buddha is not kind of really denying. Only on the duality there is no duality. The grasping, clinging, that is, there is no existing. And that is obstacle. So when you go, let it go, that aggregate, so any aggregate, then you're releasing the duality conception. At the same time, there is no also ground, as you said, ground, which is Sanskrit known as alaya. There's also no solid ground. Solid, there is also no ground. No ground. There's no ground because there's no duality you can hold ground as solid. Solid, so that the duality is not. Otherwise, everything is existing. And but that reason, Great Master Lungtima says, as long as duality stays, we have to have. Everything is there. But when duality dissolves, then another dimension of the magic display appears as everything as like kayas and pure land or the in life to call it. So then it's really different, but no grasping. The grasping is wherever you hold. That is really, or the duality is the obstacles. Okay. Thank you. Yeah.
Good morning. I just have a about
I can hear you.
ladies. Listen, it's okay.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. I just have a question based on the current events. One son stabbed his mother and father. So I'm wondering how you see the mental health situation of some um, people, that goes to the, those limits, harming their mother and father. Basically, that happened, I guess, last week in the news.
What? What? Oh, yeah.
That's an example of the mental state. What do you think about that? The general mental state.
I mean, that's a bad, really bad in Buddhism. Or anyone, I think, is really bad. But that is also tells how mind is powerful. Mind is the everything. It creates good things, it creates bad things. So when the mind is out of the order or in a not normal way, and then that individually created that in a way, in the Buddhism, it is unthinkable. Really, one of the worst negative activities that you can do, and so is killing at that, killing one's own parent, and so it's really bad. And they do at the start, after you say how that happened, and again in Buddhism, it started with ignorance, and then anger, and then maybe attachment combination. I don't know, and anger, and of course is ignorance, then jealous, then confused, and all that, and then the consequence of the psychological troubles or whatever that is, and then it really unthinkable activity it did. So that's really bad. And now what we do, according with the teaching, you do pray, really pray to that person who died. Also pray for that person who did. This person did, not wisely, not really smartly, and it is because out of the intoxicated with the ignorance and anger and jealous, and he created, according to the teaching, bad karma, very bad karma. And so pray for victim, pray for the one who did, and do a lot of pray things, and also pray that never going to happen in the world. Again, like similar things, or to anything really bad thing. So do pray. Those are the teaching mentioned, and I will say that. Okay, thank you. Any?
One question from the internet, from other Sangha member. Since most of us are very busy, Rinpoche, what are a couple of the best texts or books to study so to understand the main points of practice and to apply them in our experience?
Mm-hmm. I think, definitely, of course, everyone is very busy in that. But I think so you make the time. Even you're busy, and the busy never going to stop. In the teaching mentioned, the busy never going to stop until you stop. So that's really the smart. What to do? You stop, then it stops. Otherwise, busy never going to stop. And it's like also in the teaching mentioned, they are like ripples of the water, ripples of the ocean, never going to stop. But when you stop, it stops. That's the teaching said. So I will say, make some time. For example, suggested time is in the morning. Morning before you go to work or before you start your business, when you get up from the sleeping, or when you wake up, and immediately or soon after 15 minutes, after 10 minutes, really do practice. And don't thinking of the dreams that you have. If you have some dreams, don't thinking. Those are just conceptions. Really, in the teaching said, I'm just following the teaching. Don't thinking the dreams, this and that things. Immediately, the most important is inspire yourself. Bring more devotions, more joy. That's why in the practice lineage we discuss the calling Lama part, thinking that sizzling devotion, sizzling joy, sizzling appreciation, grateful for yourself, grateful to your family members, or friends, neighbors, all the situation and circumstance. All these wonderful things are, I'm surrounded. Not complaining, I don't have this, I don't need this. Don't worry, don't think. That for 10, 20 minutes, half hour, make time to reflect in those things. For 5 minutes or 3 minutes, really joy and appreciation, more grateful things. And then sizzling devotions to the Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, and Guru. And see every teacher is in one form, as a Guru Padmasambhava. See vividly Guru Padmasambhava sitting right in front of your sky, smiling, emanating so many blessed lights to you, to all the beings. Pray that may I make the meaning for my lives. May these days become more meaningful for me, not spoiled by the negative emotions and the worries, this and that thing. Really meaningful. Make that, fulfill that goal today. That those thoughts, if you can think those thoughts, those are practicing. Those are so special. That will you really can breathing air, fresh air, and bring to the systems. It's so special. Then do your maybe meditation. They do it from practice, chanting prayer, such as 7-line prayer, or whatever you practice for 5 minutes, 10 minutes. And after that, do 5-minute meditation, silence meditation, mindfulness meditation, vipassana meditation, shamatha meditation, whatever you do. And then at the end of that, nice dedication and aspirations, wishing good things to you, wishing good things to your family member, to everyone. Really wish that. That is practices. So I will say, if you can do, and that in the morning, that's a good, and for maybe 20 minutes, half an hour, and then whole day. Now you have 8 hours or 10 hours or 12 hours or 15 hours, then you spend the time to do your all the other activities. But that I will say really, if you can spend it, that will be good.
I think they wanted a suggestion of a book.
Oh, books, also. Books, and if you read the books, you like the Guide to the Lives of the Bodhisattvas by great master Shanti Deva is really great. That is always so powerful, so special. And then some other books by His Holiness Dalai Lama. And then also there's many other books. So I really can't tell what translated, but those are excellent. And then also letter to the friend, or spiritual advice from teacher or spiritual teacher by Nagarjuna. Those are excellent, excellent, very basic ground. And then Dzogchen teaching, there's so many books that so many great masters, one after another. So whichever, but the guide, way in the lives of guides to the bodhisattva, that Shanti Deva's teaching is excellent. And then also teachings by the great master Papa Rinpoche, the world's my perfect teacher. Those are very good. And there's also a lot of instructions and teachings about the 6 realms. But don't quote with also intellectual thought, all these realms, I don't believe this, believe. Those all, there's so many things that we don't know, that we don't have to also say this, I don't believe that, that could be. Who knows? There is many things, really that. Now scientists discover more things, more universe, more worlds that we heard. And so don't worry that, but that again, also my private teacher is really excellent teaching cause and effect, all those excellent teaching, and don't worry about the 6 realms and all those explanations too much. And if you digest that well, good, excellent. But otherwise, excellent books. So that's it. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. I think we stop here maybe, or maybe have one more days. No. Okay. Yeah.
I'd just like to suggest your book, The Buddhist Path, which is a great introduction.
Okay, thank you, thank you. And then also there's a book that written by Khenpo Rinpoche, and I has opportunity to join with him too. Book called, what's the name of that? What's the name of that book? Buddha's Path. Buddha's Path. Path with the Buddha. Thank you. That's a good. Sorry. Okay, thank you. I don't remember it. Sorry. Thank you. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Now we do a few minutes silent meditation and then we dedicate the merit. Thank you. Let's start with thank you for everyone participate. Our dedication page is page 163. 163. Okay, sorry. This again, sorry. Namo Guru Urje Sanje Nyinga Rukwa De Dunyo Sanje Bima Yebam Jo Larien Durze Hungunda Nyurzon De Nkolo Samji Nantara Dembara Yoye Kare Rao Ekorwe Yanga Se Bende Deva Amal Njungene Kere Zuwa Denze Jamzo Ye Shape Karje Parado Denjoje Oyo Tasam Dirje Gunde Ba Awanda Renzi Beme Senaji Tenzi Ye Dorje Kosete Dendro Donji Tara Sambara Yo Om Sote Benzayan Chosom Sason Jigde Bemanjo Nyene Sonde Hatuji and Tuzenji Kenya Barade Hira Trubeko Okote Denja and Taraze Om Sote Netseva Renze Beme Senauji Redoni Dribe Lazan Ordela Kero Kolo Samje Bamjarote Nasanje Nga Sole Namjara Hyo. We do short dedication, okay? By this merit, all obtain illumination. May defeat the enemy wrongdoing. From the stormy waves of Buddha sickness and death. From the ocean of the samsara, may I fall. May the also source of the benefit of happiness. Total achievement, in all the temples and monasteries, all regions and the stations of Dharma followers. May Sangha always be in harmony. May their aspirations be achieved. Number 5, may all sentient beings, may all the blessings of all the realms forever. May the riches of the all bodhisattvas, all the rulers at this very moment, may not even the name's disease, pain, war, and suffering be heard. Rather may pure conduct, merit, and love, and prosperity and may spring good fortune and well-being always their lives. The precious bodhisattva in the world. Yes. Number 13. May the great tradition of the Khenpo Tsewang Rinpoche, Dharma Khenpo Tsewang Rinpoche, spread throughout the three realm world. May the appearance of the three jewels in the mind streams of beings remain inseparable and bring sublime well-being throughout the three times. Deity, mantra, and Dharma Kaya are the nature of appearance, sound, and awareness. The pervasive Kaya and the wisdom display of the Buddhas. May the practitioners perform the secret great perfection remain inseparable from the innermost one-taste awareness of Buddhism. Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for participating. Sakhidelis, best wishes. Thank you also, everyone. Happy holidays. Okay. If you don't see, thank you. Very happy and healthy and beautiful everything. Really, fulfill beautiful things. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.